Good afternoon. Scott Redler, T3 Live, Chief Strategic Officer. Welcome to today's recap, and definitely an interesting day. We know what happened in Paris with the terrorist attacks, and it was addressed all day long in the media. And again, our hearts go out to everyone that has been impacted by what's going on over there. Everyone's impacted, but some of you, I'm sure, are more direct than others. So coming in today, people are like, oh, why aren't the futures down? You got a few signals, from Asia. They definitely didn't accelerate, and it didn't impact them huge. And then in Europe, most of those markets were almost green. So our futures were kind of flattish, floundering around. So, in my morning note, what I wrote is, let's see if we get some red dog reversals where they try and push us below Friday's low. The oscillators are minus 50, so we're very oversold. So let's figure out if they can't, push to the downside, maybe we get some pivot longs, or at least you get some good trades from that direction. So if you look here at the chart of the SPX, you'll see that here is the August low, here is your double bottom, here is when it took out that pivot showing you power, here's when it took out this resistance and held. Then about a week ago, we talked about how this trend was broken. All right, we broke below the 8-day moving average right around 2090. That was your reduced risk, maybe get short, whatever it is you do. And then it basically went sideways and broke lower. And then today, if you came in, pretty flat, or you came in flexible, really, if you just had a computer, and sometimes it's better to be a computer, I guess, and program the red dog reversal strategy, it went below 2022, went to 2019, 3 handles below the prior low, and then reversed hard and engulfed yesterday's entire day, showing you some power. So the question is, traders are like, okay, was that the pullback? Because everyone said, the market's done, et cetera, et cetera. And now we have this new pivot in place holding higher. Remember, we talked about the 38.2% retracement as being a spot to watch, or at least cover. If you were short, great. At least cover and, maybe look for some longs. And definitely wasn't an easy day. The first hour was very wishy-washy. Then oil got a bid, the XLE got a bid, the Russell firmed up, the banks firmed up, and in tech caught a bid as well. We talked about can some of the leaders like in Amazon and a Facebook, could they hold the 21-day moving average? So you go to Facebook first. Facebook came in, pushed the envelope a little bit more than you would have thought. We listed this. I actually put the chart up there this morning, right here. Saying, if you got short at 107, you could probably get some downside follow through to about 101.50. Then on 101.50, I'm like, probably a good spot to cover your shorts. Some actually got long, went a little bit below the lows, and now you had a reversal. So now we'll see what happens, if we get a little follow through, and what happens around this spot if it gets rejected or reclaimed. Amazon did the same thing. Amazon was weak all day, and then, oh, what a coinky dink. It reversed at the 21-day moving average. I got to give it to Sperling. He was buying it right in there. So if you got short on this break on Friday, okay, you got paid. If you stayed too long and you tried to think that it was going to fall apart, you probably lost what you made. And if you look to be a strategic buyer here, 50 points off the highs, using the 21-day that it hasn't been below, and you watched my morning call this morning, chances are you might have had a really good trade. Came in this morning, Apple was lower. Didn't know what to expect. All I knew is that we were down, 6-7 days, very oversold. They isolated 2 spots, one of them being around 111, one a little bit lower, and boom, it reversed real early. I said, do not buy Apple unless it gets back above 112.24, because there's no reason to. You never know how low it's going to go, but if it reclaims that, maybe you get a tradable bounce. And if you look at Apple, you got a tradable bounce. It was strong all day. It took back this prior low, held above recent support, and now I guess you'll see if what happens here if it goes a little bit further into this 116 area. Not such a powerful day, but something to do. It went green first, so if you caught it, great, and then it actually gave you a secondary move, and now there's probably a little bit of open space to there. You could do the same thing with the spiders. Like if you look at the spiders, okay, there's going to be a big question mark. Can the sellers create another high? Here's one high, here is a lower high, and then tomorrow we'll see what happens here if it opens up. Can the 8 and 21 day that's curling down be resistance and get rejected there, and maybe do a move like that, and that would probably make all the sellers happy, where high, lower high, lower high, or does it get reclaimed and then all of a sudden was this the pivot? Was this that Fibonacci retracement? If you go from this low all the way up to here, again, in hindsight, all we did is test a 38.2% retracement, and that means it's a strong market. Okay, usually you go to the 50 or here, becomes suspect. Here, that's what it tested. So we'll see what happens in the next day or so. If it, holds in there, chances are, who knows? Maybe we do get back up to the upper area because you have a, on a more relative basis, you have the low here, and now you have a higher low. So we'll see if that continues. So the next day or so is going to be really interesting. It's going to be a pretty big fight. Oil has been a problem. It's been leaking. That's what we've been talking about the last week or so. And then today it started off weaker and then it reversed. So now you look at the USO and it now has a new pivot for you to trade against. Here is the USO. Here is your red dog reversal. Okay, went below the prior low only by what? This is a 1291. This is 1281 by 10 cents and then reversed pretty hard. It engulfed all of Friday. So we'll see what happens, on this type of move. We've seen this before. It came up, made a lower high. So now we'll see if this comes up to like 14, or 1421, or not. The XLE had a very big engulfing day. You look here, talked about in the morning call again. That's why you watch the morning call that's for free. And here is your double bottom in the XLE. So then it basically took out this 2-day pivot showing some power. So now it's not in the danger zone. Okay, whenever this is making lower lows, it gets in the danger zone. Right now, it engulfed this and looks pretty decent. Probably take a look at CVX to see what that did. Engulfing day. Okay, doesn't mean it's going to go back to highs, but again, this is a pretty powerful compared to these 2 days. So, and it actually held above that prior low, so it showed you some relative strength in CVX. And what did XOM do? XOM, big engulfing day also. They definitely drove some people a little batty as it just trickled before that, but it is what it is. As far as the financials, they were weak most of the morning. They reversed. Let's just take a quick look at a few of those. Goldman Sachs, hey, look at that. I should do a lesson on red dog reversals today. Traded below a prior low. That low here was 190.06, hit 188. Once it came back above it, you buy there, put a stop here, and you made some money. And if you're looking for follow-through, you take a third home just in case you get some follow-through. That's the way you go with it. So this way, if it opens lower tomorrow and it's a trap, you don't give back your whole trade day or your whole trade from today, you give back a little bit. Or if it opens up lower, you could buy it, and then if it happens to take out today's high tomorrow, it continues. Let's see what JP Morgan did. JP Morgan didn't actually go much lower, held in there. I think it probably made it low by a few pennies, and actually held a 21 days, so this looks like a stronger bank. And then let's see what did Google do. Google today was, I think, green well before Amazon. It kind of held in there. So at this point, this was also a red dog reversal, traded below 739.47, put a low in at 734, so that's $5 lower, and closed at 750. So that is, what is that? That's $10 above the low. So if you just bought it there mechanically and put a stop at the low of the day, you got paid $10. You take two-thirds off, and then you hold just in case. So that's how you try and catch a bounce type trade after a multiple day pull-in versus just trying to catch a falling knife. Because if you can't handle it coming down, because who knows where we were going to go, then you use this. And could we have traded below 2020 and went back to the overnight lows, which was 1998 in the SPX, or not the overnight, or the Sunday night lows? Yes, but did we? No. So that's why when people are pressing for that and you reverse up, it creates that powerful trade. And then if you have some commitment to it and then you continue, you get that swing trade for the day and maybe into tomorrow. So we'll take a quick look at two more sectors before we got to go. The IBBs hanging around, not really much to say here except for, what did this do? This held this little pivot right there. So it's hanging in there. I guess, next real spot, if this was going to be healthy, would take out this descending channel here. And then if you look at the IWM, definite red dog reversal there, where, again, you pulled in from the high here of 119.36. You come into this spot, and, it traded below the prior low and came back above it and then closed above this area. So we'll see if you can get a follow-through bounce to here. So, depending on how we open tomorrow, we'll map out what could happen and where sellers need to come in to remain in control or not. But as far as today, it was definitely not an easy day. You got a quick move off the open, and then for about an hour it did a whole lot of nothing with some weakness out there and heavy feeling, and then all of a sudden 11:30, boom, the buy programs came in and they didn't let the shorts out or the sellers out, or if you could have felt like you were chasing all day. If you just got printed at those pivots, if you just walked away, you probably had a much better day than in front of your screen and taking profits too early or even trying to reverse the other end of the move. But that's the business we're in. You got to pick how you want to conduct your style. So today was Monday. Let's hope it's a quiet night, and tomorrow we'll approach the market again. Hope you had a good day, and I'll see you then. Scott Redler, T3 Live. We'll have some dinner or something.